Good afternoon, folks. How is everyone? As always, you all my people, you know I love you. I always want you to be the big three. I want you healthy. I want you happy. I want you safe. And you know what I want for me? Like, share, remind, spread this stuff around. Let's grow the channel. It's not all just beer, you know. Although there are a fairly large amount of stories mixed in there, but apparently you guys like when I disappear on a tangent. We will today. But we are shooting indoors because it is absolutely brutal. Outdoors, Stony, 110, nothing compared to, I think it's 118 or 117 today. So 110 is like the cutoff. 110 is like 90 back on the East Coast, right? It's hot, you can survive. Above that, it's hide, man. Dig a hole and get down as deep as you can because you need to hide. It's brutal out. But I have a pool and I just got done grilling. Barbecue chicken thighs, green salad, you know, summer, coleslaw. Anyway, that's not why we're here. Why we are here is we are going to drink v-beauregarde. So, filled up the growler at the local Quickie Stop Beer, whatever it's called. I don't know what the hell the name of it's called. I know where it is, and I know the folks who run it, who happen to be very, very nice. And their taps are clean. And how do I know their taps are clean? Because I filled a couple of growlers there before. So if you drink tap beer and you wind up with a really nasty headache, it's usually because nobody bothered to clean the taps. And the problem with this is, back in the day when you ran copper lines, you didn't have to. Copper is antimicrobial. Now they run those horrifically garbagey plastic poly lines, which are garbage. And so they need to be flushed on a regular basis to get the biofilm out. It's the biofilm, the bacteria, that gives you a really nasty headache. One of the many causes, just throwing it out there. Don't shoot me. Anyway, v-beauregarde Blueberry Sour is a Berliner style sour ale, so Berliner Weisse. Oh, I love Berliner Weisse. Unfiltered with a pleasant tartness and a smooth, dry blueberry finish. Much like its namesake, v-beauregarde has plenty of sass. I have no idea who v-beauregarde is, but apparently they were sassy. Just don't drink too many, or you may turn into a blueberry. I can't stand political correctness anymore. Although they did lift that right out of Charlie and Chocolate Factory. Willy Wonka. Not Charlie. The Gene Wilder one. The style is a sour ale. The ABV is 4.3. The availability is year-round on draft and in 12-ounce cans. And this is, of course, from, let me not butcher this name because I do it all the time. What are you doing, machine? College Street Brew House, which is local-ish to me. It's in Lake Havasu, which is right up on the border. So, way that way. Anyway, let's see what we got going on here. We've already cracked the beer, so let's do the pour. We'll shoot the temp. While we're doing that, we're going to listen to a band called Fear. If you're really, really old and crusty like myself, you might remember them. Or maybe you don't. And I'll tie in the story with this a little later on. So this is Have Another Beer with Fear.
Everybody needs to believe in something. I believe I have another. Everybody
Fangul. The reason I picked that song, which ties into everything else we've been talking about, is because Angus called me last night and is like, dude, want to go to the show tonight? I'm like, man, it's fucking hot out. He goes, yeah, but Fear's playing. And I'm like, Fear? Like Lee Ving Fear? And he goes, Lee, V-A-N-G. Lee Ving. Yeah, Lee's there, and, well, half the guys in the band are dead now. It's Lee and, I forget what the drummer's name is, but Lee's 73. And this is probably going to be the last time he runs through town. I haven't seen Fear since, God can't tell you when. It was a great show. And they weren't even the headliner. They were the opener. They did in 45 minutes or an hour. Old school, first wave, Gen 1 punk, 1, 2, 3, 4 out the door. Awesome. Awesome. And then the other bands were A Fire Inside, third gen or third wave punk, pop punk, and Misfits, which of course are second wave punk. So it was actually a really, really good show. Misfits did nothing but hits. All they played their entire hour and 20 minutes set was hit after hit after hit. Awesome show. Great show. And it was worth it for 118 friggin' degrees where we were dying. Anyway, that's how it all ties together. This is a very pretty beer, but as you saw, she is definitely not the right temperature for testing, but she is definitely the right temperature for 118 degrees and grilling. I'm going to slip her the tongue just to see what we got going on. Then I'm going to sit her outside for about 38 seconds so she doesn't explode, but she'll warm up, and then we'll come back. Wow, that's good. Oh, I fucking love sours. I love this time of year. Anyway, pause. We'll be back in just a second. Alrighty, folks, we are back. I'll put it outside for a couple of minutes because it's, again, brutally hot. And thank God we have a pool, which is where I'm going right after this, with that big-ass growler. And I will just lay there and relax. So we are looking at 45. Remember, she runs warm, so she's 3 over temp. 45 would be within the prescribed range that they say is the appropriate beer drinking temperature. I think it's a load of bullshit. I think you should drink your beer as you like it. I like it this cold when it's that hot. Let's get old Biden on it. We'll stick the old Bidenometer in there and get all Uncle Sniffy McCreepy on it and see what's going on. That'll be that guy. That guy? No. That's the Nord Stream pipe bomber. It'll be that guy. They're the same guy. Wow, so that's a really, really nice sweet nose, but not overpoweringly sweet. Again, I'm not a sweets guy. So it's the blueberry. These are the guys that make Big Blue Bust, the blueberry wheat. Not a really huge fan of. It's all sweetness. I'm not getting anything acrid or acidic in there. Oh, okay, that's better. I don't know what's blowing around in the air since it's hot enough to literally just make pollen spontaneously combust out there because it's freaking hot, man. Anyway, just a little background before we finish up. Berliner Weisse, or Berliner Weiss, is a cloudy sour beer of around 5% alcohol content by volume. Yes, it's what I want. When it's this hot out, I don't want to be drinking 10%ers. It's a regional variation of the wheat beer style from northern Germany, dating back to at least the 16th century. It can be made from a combination of malted barley and wheat. They didn't bother to tell us, with the stipulation that the malts are kilned at very low temperatures or even air dried to minimize color formation, and otherwise to keep caramelization down. The fermentation takes place with a mixture of yeast, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, and Brettanomyces. Brettanomyces, is, if you remember, is the Belgian yeast that makes Belgians. It's freaking delicious. And lactic acid bacteria, prerequisite that creates the lactic acid taste, a distinguishing feature of Berliner Weiss. That's why when I was saying before, I don't taste the acrid, the acidity. So it's really, really well balanced, especially with the sweetness, at least on the nose. Although I did cheat and take a sip when she was way below temp. But now, let's see what she's like when she's in the approved range. Salud. Oh. Wow, that's really good. That's actually better than when she was really cold. That's frightening. I'm going to drink it cold anyway. Too friggin' hot up to drink warm beer. A really nice flavor progression. The initial hit when she comes in is tongue, and it graduates to the roof of the mouth, the intradental zones. There was nothing extradental, there's nothing sublingual or in the buccal zones. So everything basically just right in the center, but it started at the bottom and went to the top, which is odd. And she hits the back of the throat, and well, she's not particularly clean. She's a dirty, dirty girl. That flavor lingers, man, but it's a delicious flavor. Take another sip, and I will describe that flavor progression, which is really, really interesting. It comes in, and you get the sour, and that's like right in the front, right as it's rolling up the tongue, moving up into the soft palate area. And then she rolls into that blueberry flavor. It's not a sharp snap. It's a nice smooth transition, a nice roll into that blueberry, which is delicious and very well balanced. It's not overly sweet. It works out really, really well. They crafted this perfectly. This beer is delicious. As she rolls through the flavor progression, again, you get that hit of sour, smooths over into the blueberry, which moves into the back of the throat and goes down. She's I'm going to say she's medium. She's certainly not fast. It's probably about a 2-second progression to go through. You know, when you're drinking those super fast beers, everything's right through. This, just nice, smooth. She's got a good mouth feel. She doesn't have the biggest mouth fill. But damn, she's delicious. This is a good beer, man. I'm so glad that when I went in there, they didn't have the one I wanted. That this was my fallback position. I was just going to get a friggin' lager. Sour, tart. The tartness gives way, rolls into the blueberry. Really, really good. I'm not a candy person. One second. I'm not a candy person. I can't even remember the last time I raided the boys' Halloween candy bag when we used to take them out trick-or-treating. It's just not my thing. They have sour candies like Warheads, I think they're called. This is kind of like that, I think. So my generation would have had sweet tarts, which is exactly what it says, a sweet tart candy. They have little tabs. It's kind of like that. The progression's backwards. It goes tart to sweet here, and the sweet is just absolutely beautiful, perfectly balanced, delicious. This is a great beer. Wowzers. So glad I grabbed this. Also, so glad I'm inside, since dickheads on motorcycles are racing to see who gets to meet Jesus first. And these morons drive like that and wear helmets. Why? If you're taking your life in your hands, why would you want to be a cripple? Throwing it out there. So good. And we're inside the house. The house is set for 78, which is about as cold as I can stand. I'm not a cold weather person. The beer's probably up around 50, and she's starting to move out of the acceptable range for me. Yeah, no. So, exceptional for the style. That's an instant 5. I don't even have to go through the rest of the progression. Exceptional, delicious for the style. That's the big Cinco, man. Would I buy this beer again? Oh yeah. Would I drink this beer again? Do you have any more? I intend to finish this growler. Oh, scusi. Would I like to try it on tap? We just did. We will do more of these, I think. They had a really, really interesting selection, but the majority of them were porters and stouts. And I'm like, you guys know it's summer, right? Who the hell drinks porters and stouts in the summer? I don't even drink IPAs in the summer. I think those IPA guys crazy. But we tried it on tap, and it's delicious. I don't know how it tastes out of a can, because I didn't see the can. Throwing it out there. My whole game plan was to lay in the pool yesterday, drink this, cook that. But then we went to go see Fear. Incidentally, leaving a 73 and looked great live on stage. It's an amazingly good show. Rolling Through Your Town is definitely worth seeing. We didn't see BB before he died, and I've seen BB a few times, but he came through on his last tour and then died a couple of months later, and we didn't go because reasons. If you handed this to me out of the cooler, what would I would say? I would say that's my cooler now, and you need to go find your own beer. These I declare these beers in the name of Kekistan and Beer and Gear Landia and Shitpostlandia, whatever other bullshit I could make up as absconded with your very delicious beers. Really, really good. Millie would actually like this. Even as warm as it is, even at the dregs in the bottom of the glass, still delicious. Although up around this temperature, you're getting more of that I can't really say it's the alcohol being pronounced. It's more of the acidity being pronounced as it gets warmer towards the end of the glass. Not that it's bad. It just shifts the mouthfeel a little. Still, delicious beer. So we gave her a 5. Yes, she got check marks on everything. Covered the concert last night. I think we're good. We're out of here. All right, folks. Thanks for coming by and putting some eyeballs on here. You know you're my people. You know I love you. I always want you to be happy, healthy, safe, honorable, dutiful, vigilant, head on a swivel, gray man, hot and handy. And you know what? We did Smoke 'Em If You Got 'Em a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, he called me out of the blue and said, let's go. And I was like, and then he goes, well, you know, it's Fear. And I was like, okay, we have to go. So, you get the opportunity, don't waffle. Go out and do it. Live your fucking life. Because no guarantee you're going to be here tomorrow, man. None of us have that guarantee. And there are a lot of people who definitely lessen their chances of being here tomorrow by some actions by a misdirected group of evil people. Evil. They might even be evil space lizards for all I know. We had that conversation last night. Angus just looked at me like, we were talking about that motherfucker over there is not real. Because she's a hottie. That's my kind of woman. She knows what's going on. And that girl awake. All right. Just enough left to wish you adieu, to bid you adieu, and salute.